Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. And today's video is time to return to another VHS or DVD review. Today we'll be doing the best of James. Oh wait, and before you ask, no, this is not the US version, unfortunately. This is the UK version that has the CGI episodes and all that. The US version has episodes from seasons 1 to 5, I believe, or 4. Right here's the front, the spine, and the back. Yeah, it says we got classic animation and new animation. How is this classic animation? That's from season 9. And season 9 is not part of the classic era of Thomas, but oh well. Here's the disc. And here's a pamphlet I made for all the episodes that are on this release. Yeah, some of them are a bit crunched up. So, how many episodes on here again? Actually, there's 20 episodes. Damn. Now, we probably already reviewed some of the episodes on other releases, but there's only one to find out if we're going to call this good. It depends on what good James episodes we have on this release. The first episode on this release we have here is James and the Coaches. Nice episode to start with the release as we're going all the way back to season 1. So, I'm probably going to give the episode score about maybe 9 out of 10. It's a nice episode to start with. Not one of course, not one of James' all-time best episodes. Well, not one of James' best known all-time episodes, but hey, it's a James episode. So this is the one that James started it with. Up next is James and the Express, a fantastic episode, so in my opinion. One thing I don't like about this release is the fact that Troublesome Trucks is not on this release, which is also a good episode. Like, I have no idea why that episode is not on this release. It does pains me to know why it isn't. Or other episodes like Dirty Up. Sorry guys. Another episodes that they could have added are like Dirty Objects from season 1. That's a season 1 episode. Why isn't it on this release? God knows, kids. Anyways. Yeah. This is a good episode. 10 out of 10. Up next is Overdying. If you ask me, this is kind of the, apologies for not adding Dirty Objects or Troublesome Trucks. And thank God they did add this episode, because this is not only just a James episode, it's pretty much a Netflix episode, so literally both of them are the main characters. So yeah, thank goodness they added this episode on this release, because this is one of the best episodes of all time, obviously. Like if you were to name 3 season 2 episodes of Thomas, this could be one of them in your heads, or maybe it's going to be Diesel and Duck Saga. Or maybe if you were to maybe you were asked to name 3 Thomas episodes, maybe this could be one of them, but well, it depends on what ones you can remember, I guess, from your childhoods. But yeah, good episode, 10 out of 10. Up next is Buzz Buzz. We're going to season 3 now, boys. Yeah, there's only literally one season 2 episode on this release, which is a bit of a shame. But oh well, we must progress. Yeah, good episode. Start with season 3. Now, what I have a problem with the season 3 ordering list is the fact that Time for Trouble, which is the first James episode of season 3, it's the last season 3 episode in this release, which I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, Buzz Buzz is a great episode. The animation here in this scene is nice. It was funny. So yes, 10 out of 10, boys. Here's No Joke for James, which I think this episode, hear me out, was meant to be before Buzz Buzz, and I haven't a clue why Hit decided, or whoever decided, to put this episode after Buzz Buzz. I just don't get it. Anyways, with that though, no problem. I absolutely love this episode. If I was to consider what were the best seasons James had the best episodes in, that's gonna be a hard one for me because I think most of them will probably be season 3, but yeah, I mean, like even when we entered the hit era, he and Gordon literally had the best episodes and all that. But yeah, we'll talk about the hit era later on in this video. But I absolutely love this episode. 10 out of 10. God, look at the looks of season 3, boys. Up next is Percy, James, and the Fruitful Day. Like O'Darian, this episode shows both Percy and James, which makes sense. The crash was good in this episode, and this was the last James episode in the series, and I don't know, well, season 3, and I don't know why this is before Time for Trouble, when Time for Trouble was literally episode 3 of season 3 after Percy's promise. Like, why? Just why? But yeah, good episode, 10 out of 10. And here we have Time for Trouble, which I honestly don't understand why this is the last season 3 episode. I mean, it confused the ordering, but then again, fans will know what the order is of all seasons, or the best known seasons, but yeah, you put it that way, kids, I guess. But yeah, this is a good episode, 10 out of 10. Up next is James and the Tupperware Trees. Yeah, I don't think James never got an episode in season 4, sadly, so no season 4 on this release, kids. How sad. But yeah, it's a good episode. I absolutely love this one. This would probably be one, probably if not maybe some of my top 5 favorite James episodes, maybe, because it's just such a great episode, and the scream in the scenes is brilliant. And this is one of the best episodes where the modeling works, if you ask me. I just absolutely love this episode. 10 out of 10. One of season 5's best. Then we have James and the Red Balloon, and even though the show did start to go a bit downhill when season 6 came out after Magic Railroad, at least they did try to capture that magic of what the first 5 seasons had, and I think James and the Red Balloon is one of these episodes that tries to do that and keep that sort of element from the classic era. Maybe this episode could have worked in the first 5 seasons, but it's great here if you ask me. Again, one of my favorite James episodes of all time. This episode does make. I just love the concept of this episode idea of James and a red balloon, like interfering, which is absolutely a fantastic concept if you ask me. So yes, 10 out of 10. This feels like maybe a worrisome story if you ask me, or maybe at least in my opinion. I don't know. 10 out of 10. Up next is James and the Queen of Sodor, the last classic series episode is released, which is season 7, or if you're from the US, you will consider this as part of the hit era, I suppose, because season 7 in the US had hit music. Whatever you think, it's your opinion, but I absolutely like this episode a lot. I absolutely just love it, to be honest. I don't care what fans say. Even though season 6 and 7 were not strong as the first 5 seasons, I literally don't give a damn. I just love these seasons because these 2 seasons were my childhood. So yeah, no one's gonna stop me now. Oh no. Unless there's a review or a video about those 2 seasons that you can change my mind. Anyways, this scene here is just so great. I just loved when all, what was it, Sully or something? I can't remember what the narrator said, but it was called Gluey or something, but I just love it when it came out on top of the Queen of Sodor and this goes onto the ground. I absolutely just love that. They done a fantastic job with that effect. So yeah, great episode, 10 out of 10. And now we go into the hit era, folks. It's time to rate these episodes. The first hit era episode is James Goes Too Far. A good episode. I know maybe some viewers will call this bad because of the fact that James was acting like a silly biddy for like not waiting his turn at the water tower. But this is not really a middle. This is no Miller era writing, because Sharon Miller did not write for the show until season 9. This was no Miller plot. It's just like a one strike formula thing, if you ask me. But yeah, like Thomas Fan 261 said, and it's going to be an engine video review. I think he did believe that this would work in the classic era as well for James, and honestly, I would have to agree with him or what I would have to agree on him what he said about this episode in this review on the DVD release itself. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of us are curious why salty of all characters came to James. I mean, he's the grandpa who tells sea stories. He's Captain Jack Sparrow in this series. Why out of him is telling James about you need to wait your turn, boy. I mean, like, why out of him? I mean, sure. I mean, they already used Apple in this episode, so they can't use him. Maybe they could have used Toby, rather again as the branch. You know, like, maybe Boca would have worked in this scene. But hey, as long as Salty told James to shut up and get on with his life, then that's fine by me. 10 out of 10. Up next is James Gets a U-Coat. Another good episode, if you ask me. This probably does feel like another classic episode from the classic series that was brought into the hit era. And the scenes where James kept getting covered in coal was just pretty hilarious to watch for younger kids, I suppose. And the code that she goes over him is like James is being on an air raid or something. Although maybe this body him right now probably feel like something else or fall out after he crashed down with surgery, I believe. But yeah. Anyway, it's a good episode. 10 out of 10. Up next is Keeping Up with James. Oh no, Miller has arrived onto the scene. Again, this episode pretty much does capture some classic elements, I believe. I mean, I really want to know what is with the good episodes that Gordon and James had in this era. Because Gordon and James seem to be having the best episodes from the hit era. I do believe that some fans, or maybe a lot of fans, consider that, but opinions are opinions. But yeah. And the crash in this scene was episode, sorry, is obvious epic. But definitely one of the hit era's best crashes, if you ask me. 10 out of 10. I need to stop giving every single episode 10 out of 10. But there again, opinions exist. I don't even give any bloody reasons in this video so far. Up next is James the Second Best. Again, another episode with him and Edward, like them keeping up with James. Harry Jane goes too far, I guess, as well. The crash in the scene I thought was pretty hilarious, if you ask me. This was pretty much one of my favorite season 10 episodes to watch as a kid, because I suppose it does have some classic elements in there, and I personally like the crash in this episode. So seeing James as up in the wallpaper here is just hilarious. So yes, 10 out of 10. Up next, James works it out. Oh no. Okay, we're now reached to where the show is now going to start transferring to CGI stuffs, and James works out how the season 12, obviously. James, and I do believe Gordon as well, only had one episode to themselves in season 12. And I believe Percy had one episode to himself as well, as like of Henry as well, I believe, and Edward, Rosie. I'm not going to say Thomas, because Thomas literally gets all episodes to himself in the hit era, because yes. Hit Entertainment say yes, but how did they able to screw it up here? I mean, this episode does follow the Tree Strike formula, sadly. I mean, to be honest, they could have replaced this episode with like Dirty Work, the season 11 episode where James helps all of his friends, even though he wants to be the mayor's engine for Cannon Castle. I mean, like, why couldn't that episode be on this list instead of this one? If you don't know what episode I'm referring to, I'm referring to this episode. Like, why couldn't this episode take J-Rock's out's place? Because this was actually a pretty good damn episode. But no, we had to get this episode. A lot of fans do consider this as one of season 12's worst episodes and one of the worst James episodes of all time, and I do not blame the fans. Because, I mean, like, sure, Hector gets more appealing time and more voicing into himself. That's great, but this is something that I think this episode could have been enjoyable to watch, but to screw it up with the tree strike formula thing, it's such a damn shame if you ask me. I mean, the modern world looks pretty nice in this episode, in my opinion. Heck, I believe this episode was only made just because of that Tommy Trackmaster set where James comes in and he just goes through this snow tunnel thing and boom, that's it. I believe this episode was only made for merchandise for that set. Oh well. But do I consider this a good episode? Not really. I mean, the modeling work looks great in my opinion, but other than that, the episode's not the best. Probably 5 out of 10 for me. Okay, we're entering the Sharmelo era, folks. Up next is Tickle Pink, the first CGI episode James is the lead in. I kind of like this episode, to be honest, because I pretty much like this episode quite a lot. I know it's minute lighting, tree strike formula thing, but opinions exist, and if I like this episode, then so shall be, I suppose. Do kind of like the idea of James wearing a different color, and this episode maybe could have worked in classic writing, but obviously no, it's a tree strike formula thing. But I just really don't mind it here. I just personally like this episode, to be honest. I know everyone, maybe not a lot of other people would not like this episode because of the tree strike formula thing and stupid writing, but I personally like it here. I like this episode. I'm probably gonna give it maybe 9 out of 10. Yeah, I know, this episode's bad. Leave me alone. Up next is Steamy Sodor. Why? Just why? I'm not saying it's terrible, but the thing is, it's about Thomas, not James. Out of all the next episodes you could have put on the CGI selection, it had to be this one. Wait, this is on the Best of Thomas release. Like James the Red Balloon is on the Best of Thomas release in the UK version, and I'll talk about that in some other video if you guys want me to review the Best of Thomas. But really, I mean, like, this is not a James episode. Who thought it would be a good idea to place an episode where James is sort of a main character in it, but he's just a side character, while most of the episode is about Thomas trying to run the bloody steamworks that he keeps screwing up at. I mean, like, why? Who told this idea? That this episode, which is literally about Thomas, could be on a James release, even though it has the Thomas and Friends logo on it. And yeah, Thomas is on the back here, but nobody cares about Thomas. I mean, everyone's literally hating Thomas, the character, at this point in the reboot. Oh yeah, reboot James is now a thing. But seriously, who thought of this idea? What about the episode itself? Is the episode itself good? Nah, it's not. I mean, sure, it's Thomas trying one of bloody works, and he keeps screwing it up at. I mean, Henry has his shape season 1 thing problem, which everyone is literally tired of hearing, because they just keep, because starting from season 10 they kept bringing that back, and James just literally appears here because yes, But yeah, not literally a great episode if you ask me. I'm probably gonna give it 7 out of 10. It's really it's in the middle spot for me. Okay, next up is James in the Dark. So we finally get a James episode again. Okay, after my rant on Steamy Sodor, but the fact that is a Thomas episode, not a James. How does James in the Dark perform? It's not too bad. I know it's stupid to start phone the thing because James is blind and won't wear a light. But yeah, it's pretty much in the middle for me again. I'm probably gonna give it 8 out of 10. It's improvement over Steamy Sodor, I suppose. Up next is James and the Whistling Wood. Oh no! It's not James and the Whistling Woods. It's not Thomas and the Whistling Woods. It's Toby and the Whistling Woods. You think Steamy Sodor screwed it up? Well, guess what, kids? Toby had to say, "Oh, I want to be on this release as well." Okay, so I mean, some episodes on this release, like Time for Trouble, makes sense because one, people like that episode. Is a classic story that Wilbert wrote, and it's a James and Toby episode. This episode is barely has anything to do with James. All he does is, "Oh, Toby, you want some help? Toby, do you want some help? Okay, Toby, me and Tom will show you the way." It's literally just about Toby scaring of trees. Henry wants a word with you now. Because Henry's probably going to catch him on Twitter.com for that, Toby. Anyways, before Henry can do that, after the video ends, yeah, another side rant. This is a Toby episode. I mean, this episode is not even the best. I mean, again, not Toby, not Thomas, it's a James release. I mean, who thought of this idea? Come on, guys. Toby's not even well seen on this cover. Well, it's Toby. No, well. But is the episode good? Nah. Just nah. Toby, how is Toby's scale of the false? It's a tree-strike formula thing. How is this episode even going to be good? Just nah, kids. Just nah. 4 out of 10 for me. The last episode we have to deal with is James to the Rescue from season 15. The last episode on this release. Maybe a lot of people I don't think like this episode either. Which I suppose some people like the crash in this episode. For me, it's kind of in the middle part for me yet again. This episode on one it's alright, the other is but it's actually on both sides. So for sometimes I would be like, it's pretty alright, and then notes would be like, it's not the best, not one of the bestest. But I would take this over Toby and the Whistling Woods if you ask me. At least this one is about James, even though Toby's in it. But most of this was actually about James, and Toby was like, "Oh, James, we should get Rocky." No, we should not, Toby, because this is a Tree Strike Formula episode. I need to screw it up. Oh, James, you're kidding me. I know some people would consider this part of the whole James and Toby saga thing. Not saga, but the whole Toby and James element thing. But I'm not sure does it work here or not. But yeah, I'm probably going to give this episode 6 out of 10. I'm on par notes with this episode, side or side. You know what, boys, that was our review on the best of James. Now, only one thing to consider. Do I recommend this release? I'm probably going to be on par notes with you. Half of the episodes are kind of good, while the rest are nah. But for the most recommend part, I'm probably going to say yes. I mean, only show your child most of the classic episodes, and if you consider some of the hitter episodes good, then yeah, the CGI ones, pretty much no. Even though I did kind of like some of the CGI episodes, like Tickle Pink, but that's just my opinion. The rest of the CGI episodes are but yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I pretty much do recommend this release. It's not totally a fantastic release, don't get me wrong, because not all the episodes are great on this release, but for the most part, half of the episodes are pretty good. But yeah, good episode. I mean, good episodes. Most of the episodes are good. So yeah, I recommend this release if you want to get it. I would recommend this release if your child is a huge fan of James. But if your child does like the bad episodes in this release, then go with him watch it because his bloody opinions he probably change his mind in the future. But yeah, I would recommend this release. But so yeah, anyway, so thank you for watching today's video, guys. My next review will be on either this. Anyways, goodbye now, kids. Am I going to lie or die prefer the US release better?